for me, I always felt like a unicorn. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Oh, and I think we're, kin in that way.
Of course.
I always felt like a unicorn. Just, there was, there are other people who obviously break news and do that, right? But as far as doing it as a Black female, consistently across 32 teams, consistently over 10, 15 years, I felt like I was just in that box by myself as a Black female doing it in that place. So that in and of itself had its stuff. You know what I mean?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
You have other issues too that you have to break prior to, so you can do your job. And it has nothing to do with your talent. It has everything to do with like this, who I am. It makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I still have a job to do.
Yes.
And I say that because your job requires you to be in the presence of masculine men.
Yes.
And you're a good looking woman.
Thank you.
Right? No, let's just keep it a buck, right? And oftentimes it may be easier to talk to an Adam Schefter. It may be easier to talk to another man. But when it's coming from a woman, it's like, oh man, I got all these distracting things to some, not to all. And I'm just giving you, I'm just keeping it funky.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? And that's not to say your word should ever be compared to this person, or he has more information than I have, because I have the same information, if not more information. But I'm just saying where you're fighting that hurdle too. It's like, oh my God. And I was guilty, by making a public statement that, I have to be mindful of what I say and how I say it, because it can come off as insensitive. It can come off as sexist. But at the end of the day, the truth is, as an attractive female, it's a gift in some industries, but in this industry, it could be a curse.
Well, I feel like everything is all about how you carry yourself. And one thing I'm really mindful, especially as a Black female, is like narratives. I don't like, first of all, I remember one time I had to tell my boss there, just to give him an idea sometimes how I feel. I just said, imagine walking into a workplace, that's all Black people, and you're one of the few white people. Or whoever else, type of ethnicity. Sometimes that's how we feel. And there are things that could be just as simple as me pulling up to the building and dealing with microaggressions from security and how I'm treated even before I walk in the building. In terms of extra checking me in my Uber, and if I got my pet in my car and I can't do this, or you're delaying me just to like aggravate me, because people don't necessarily check their biases or their their perspectives before they come to work. They carry that to work. And if I come into a meeting, I'm dealing with all of your perceptions,
insecurities,
your thought processes of just me as a Black woman when I just sit down in the meeting. And even before I say anything, I could be just defensive to you in just how I just am, or your preconceptions. You know what I mean? Or just me just speaking up, even though my volume might not be up, even though I might not be saying anything in an attacking way, it's already just perceived that way. Let me just give you one example. I remember when I did an interview with OBJ and Lil Wayne. Just to give you one example, and there's a lot of them because I was there a long time in other places. But one of the things that I kept saying before that piece aired was that Lil Wayne can't just sit there and have it air like that. He also spoke up during the interview, and he is knowledgeable about football. He's a Packers fan. And obviously, OBJ in that interview, he said a lot of impactful things about Eli Manning and all that stuff at the time. And, at the time I felt like they were just so focused on what OBJ was saying, and that was the juice or what have you. And they were going to literally air it. And I'm pretty sure it did air this way, if not just the minimal stuff said from Lil Wayne, with him just sitting there. And I kept saying, and this was the night before the interview, I kept saying, people are going to watch this and be like, why is Wayne just sitting there? Oh, no. And I'm like, but here's the thing, like, you don't even have this interview without me bringing it here.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yes.
Y'all don't care about it being on the network, especially now.
But this is the
Yeah.
this is the issue, and this is what stems racism. This is what stems hatred. This is really what stems sexism, any type of prejudiceness. It's not that you don't care, it's the fact that you don't know. People don't know how much of an impact Lil Wayne is in the culture. You listen to, in a league that's dominated by more than, I say 85% of the men that are playing in the NFL are black men, right? If everybody knows who Lil Wayne is, I had a conversation. I had a guest yesterday and was speaking on like, man, why don't everybody take the Lil Wayne approach and drop mixtape after mixtape after mixtape after mixtape? And it's like people in high power, they don't feel like it's important because it's not important to you.
Well, you know what? Before the game started, because I was doing that game from Pittsburgh, even though he was playing with the Giants at the time, and it was Carolina, and then it was like, I remember before the game, somebody had said to me, "Oh, he's got 33 million followers on," and I'm like, yes, like it's not just he's Lil Wayne, but yes, he has a big following. And it's like, oh, can you get him to da-da-da-da-da? But this was like, an hour before the game, and the thing is that after it aired, just to wrap it up, is that people were saying, obviously it was good, it went all over the place, but they were like, why is he just sitting there? And I was like, but I said this, and we were on and just to paint the picture a little bit more, we were on a conference call where I was the only one a part of the conference call that looked like me. And it's not to just immediately say that you can't understand me simply because you look different than me. But what I'm saying is sometimes, you don't really understand the feeling of that, of being that only representative of that only ilk in that conversation, trying to speak up. And then instead of after the fact, well, Josina was right. Oh, well, Josina always got this to say. Josina this, that, and the third. And so you carry whatever negative connotation sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes that can be connected to a black female, specifically also if you speak up,
double minority.
Specifically if you dress a certain way, specifically if your nails are done, specifically if you red lipstick or whatever. When I walk on the field, it's already, ugh.
No, let's keep it funky.
Yeah.
White America, people who don't understand, can you show the camera your nails? Please.
Well, this is really tame.
No, but I'm just saying.
Typically, they're longer than this.
No. Check this out. That is what we appreciate that in our culture as a man, because my rule is this: if one nail is broke, all of them are broke.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And it's not to say that you get your nails done and you get them acrylic, you get a fill-in, you get this. It's like, I'm a sucker for natural beauty. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to wear lipstick, but if you got your lipstick on, it better be put on. You know what I'm saying? It's not that your hair has to always be done. It's just like, boom, putting your hair in a ponytail could be just as a turn on, to a person who has their hair laid. Now, at the end of the day, I think the understanding of knowing what other people like is just as important as you knowing what you like. And I think that's the issue.